Welcome to Bothering the Band. My name is Ryan Bynek. With me, as always, is my spunky sidekick, Abigail Ann Levy. We have a good episode for you today. Sometimes we have to steer the ship with a bunch of dumb questions, and sometimes we have to sit back and just let the ship go where it may. Today is one of the latter. We have John Beckmann and William Declan Lucey, who made a record under a band named Mortal Prophets. It's really great. Check them out. Interview's even better. Bothering the Band with Mortal Prophets. You know the dealio here. We're gonna ask you a bunch of stupid questions.
Yeah, no, I watched a few episodes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a fun show. When did you start the show?
105 episodes ago.
When was that?
January 2020.
Yeah, almost
Oh
2
wow,
years
okay.
ago.
Wow, right when COVID was starting.
Yeah.
Which actually helped us because so many more people were at home and therefore willing to do Zoom interviews.
Right, that's cool.
So I hate to say that because we all know it was a bad time, but
Yeah, huh?
It helped the pod.
And you live in Wyoming? How nice.
Till you go outside and there's 6 inches of snow that fell in the last couple hours.
Is that right?
Yeah. I live in one of the winteriest places in the lower 48.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
And is that where you grew up?
Oh gosh, no. I grew up in Orlando. That's where
okay.
Ryan and I both grew up in Orlando. That's where we met.
I see. Okay, got it. Okay.
I don't know why I came out here, to be very honest.
Got on the wrong plane.
Yep. I mean, it's gorgeous. Can't complain. But
are you in New York?
Yeah.
What part of New York?
I live up near the George Washington Bridge.
Oh, no shit. So like the Heights?
Up near slightly above the Heights. It's
okay.
Near the Cloisters Museum, if you've ever been to that.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah. I have.
So
I like the Cloisters Museum.
It's great. And then my office is down in Chinatown.
Oh wow, very cool. I love New York.
Do you come up to visit much?
Yeah, I lived there for 10 years.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, ever the New Yorker.
Good.
I was just there. I was just working the New York City Marathon.
In what sense?
I move a lot of heavy shit, so a lot of psychos can run far. So, but I'm at the
so
start
you were
line.
just here. You were here last week.
Yeah. I'm at the start line, so I built out the start line and dealt with all the craziness there.
Huh. That's cool.
That's pretty cool. I love it. I lost my voice.
How did you get the idea to do this podcast with musicians?
Abby and I are music geeks.
Yeah.
And we were like, how can we trick our favorite musicians to be friends with us? And this is what we came up with.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. We're like, how do we hang out with them? And then we're like, oh, we just ask them silly, non-invasive questions and see what really makes them tick.
That's great.
Yeah. William, are you here?
William, should I text him? Oh, here he is.
He's
2 minutes.
Oh.
He's 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's 1:00 in where he lives, 1:00 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
He's in Ireland, so he's either coming back from the pub or, just waking up, which is nice of him.
Anybody there?
There he is.
Hey, one sec.
Are you in bed in your pajamas? There you are. Okay.
Am I in bed? No. No. How are you guys?
It's the first time I've seen you.
Really?
Right? No, I mean, we did the whole thing, just telephone and we didn't do any. I don't think we did
any face-to-face Zooms. I don't actually remember.
I don't think we did. How cool is that?
Who needs to see our
Exactly.
ugly faces anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
guys. So it's Abby and Ryan. They're the hosts with the mostest.
Hi, Abby and Ryan. Nice to meet you guys.
Hey, welcome to Bothering the Band.
Thanks for having us. Where are you guys? Are you in New York?
Abby?
I'm in Wyoming.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm currently and reluctantly in South Florida. I'd rather be in New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we always start the pod with asking our guests how are they and where are they? So, and that, how are you and where are you? And we'll start with William, who just got on.
Hey guys. So actually, believe it or not, I'm in a place called Cork in Ireland, which is down the south. It's a little town, kind of sort of the size of maybe I don't know, like Newport or somewhere. A little town like that. And the wind is howling and the rain is lashing against the window right now.
Oh wow. Did you just John assumed you may have just gotten back from the pub. Is that true?
I'm back a little bit.
Okay. So you've been back.
So I've been back about half an hour.
Okay, cool. And John, tell the people, how are you and where are you?
I'm fine, and I'm in New York City.
Very well. Have either of you been to Florida?
I have many times.
Many times.
Sure.
Yeah.
And your thoughts, impressions?
When I was a kid, my parents, we used to go down there. We used to drive down. Like every summer, every other summer.
The beach?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Beach.
Beach.
Probably. Yeah. I remember the trips very well. We took vacations. I've probably been to almost every state. I haven't been to Oregon. I haven't been to Washington State. But my father he liked to drive.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
William, have you been to Florida?
I have actually. Yeah, I've been. Let's see. So I made a couple of records down in South Beach actually.
Oh wow, cool.
For some labels, we worked with a guy called Tom Lord Algie, who's a mixer who works out of a studio there. So we were there. Played a bunch of shows actually in like St. Petersburg, and a couple of I can't remember where the big where's the university again? The big is it Florida? FSU?
Gainesville.
Yeah. Played there. I remember one time drove through the middle, and that was weird. Like the bits on the edge, a little weird, but going right through the middle is just really, really strange. It kind of reminded me of what's that movie with what's it called again? Not Deliverance. What's the one that's set in the woods up in Maine?
Probably Deliverance.
Is it called Deliverance? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Pretty much.
That is an apt description.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I gotta pump the brakes a little. I personally, I'll take the heat on this shit on Florida a lot in this podcast. So, I'm gonna refrain, but I agree.
All right.
Okay, so either of you can chime in on this one, and this is a good problem to have. It's not even a problem. How do you describe the music you guys made together?
John, you want to take that?
There's a lot of adjectives used on the internet. I want to know what your adjectives are.
Well, I think it's sort of a collision between German electronica and the Delta blues. You can imagine that. But the lyrics are the main drivers for how we put these songs together, not necessarily topping the music, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's such a kind of a sort of a sacred text, if you want to, the blues in general. It's just such a foundational piece of sort of American culture, sort of really represents that kind of melting pot, of sort of, and I think so we were very conscious of that, of sort of trying to you know, sort of reinterpret it, but also sort of kind of not try and not try and sort of twist it in a way that wasn't, you know, for example, the blues to me anyway, I think the John too has it's like sort of riven through with emotion, you know, and we sort of, I think any good music sort of, or any good art actually has to sort of have that emotion present, regardless of sort of, you know, whether it's German electronic or, you know, death metal or whatever it might be. I mean, that's sort of first and foremost, you know. So we kind of kept that in the forefront of our minds, and then just tried to reinterpret it basically whatever way, you know, we saw the music was taking us. Would you say, John?
Yeah, I agree. I call it America's primal scream.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've already filled up my like allotted pages of my notebook.
You're taking notes.
Absolutely, all the time.
Okay,
but,
good. Okay.
You know, usually a pod, I'll fill up like 2 or 3 pages the whole time. Already filled that up. So we're gonna move on to some really dumb questions.
I love dumb questions.
Oh, we got some doozies for you.
You may get some dumb answers.
That's exactly what we're going for. Do you own a raincoat?
Well, I definitely own a raincoat.
I figured.
Yeah. Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex.
You know, it's not exactly sort of you know, eco-friendly and all, the old Gore-Tex. So I actually tried to get one from like a company who was making these sort of you know, eco-friendly raincoats. It just didn't work. It's Gore-Tex or nothing.
What's it? What color is it? What color is it?
It's yellow.
Oh, I love that it's yellow. Perfect.
John,
do you have a raincoat?
I have a raincoat, yeah. Black, probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite film of all time?
Wow. I really love Doctor Strangelove, the Kubrick movie.
Nice.
But I don't know, that's just something that popped into my mind.
Yeah. It's a hard one.
I love Peter Sellers. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite movies at the moment anyway is The Deer Hunter.
Oh, wow.
That movie just, I don't know, it just has everything. Music, just great story, amazing acting. Yeah, it's hard to beat that one, I think, to be honest.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, devil's food cake or angel's food cake?
I'm not a big dessert. I'm not a big dessert person. I'll say angel's food cake.
Okay. No dessert, any chocolate or anything like that?
I like chocolate, but I'm not a dessert person.
Okay.
Really? I mean,
William?
Yeah, not really a dessert person, but I sort of lean toward the devil. I think he'd probably make better dessert, I would guess.
The big difference is that the devil's food cake is chocolate. Yeah. So yes, I agree.
I should like the devil's food cake because the album's called Me and the Devil, but
I know. You have a couple songs.
Yeah.
We're right there with you. How do you feel about people who push cats around? And I'm sure, John, you might see this more in strollers.
I think it's cute to, I think it's cute to get the cat out of the house.
Okay.
There was a guy on the subway this week who had a cat sort of strapped in over his shoulder, which is unusual. You never see cats on the subway.
Subway cat,
yeah, was fun. Pretty well behaved.
I think you guys should be taking notes because that's a song title right there. Subway cat. William, do you see anybody pushing pets around in strollers in Cork?
I think you'd probably get too much of abuse over here if you did that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's like I don't know. The person on the subway with the cat is definitely going to Brooklyn.
Cats are interesting because they're so probably they don't want to be, Like dogs, a dog would happily
Yeah.
jump into a stroller and get pushed around, but cats,
Right.
there must have been some force involved, I would think.
I don't know. The cats seem pretty content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's stoned.
Trained.
Maybe it's on
Trained.
ketamine.
Or maybe he's just been training him a very long time since he
Yeah.
was a little kitten.
Uh, do you own a tuxedo?
No.
Nope.
No. Do you own a suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Never wear it, but I certainly have one.
Yeah.
Bob Marley or Bob Dylan?
I guess Bob Dylan.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose even though Bob Marley is, you know, a giant, obviously, Dylan
Right.
is really
Yeah.
sort of unique.
Yeah.
There's nobody like him.
Okay. John, why'd you go Bob Dylan so quick?
He's just had such a huge influence, I think, on American music.
Yeah. You're talking to
Kinda-
someone who loves Bob
kind of
Dylan,
a
so I'm right there with you.
Easy answer.
Okay, so let's go back to taking notes. If you're taking notes somewhere or you have your notebook,
Yeah.
songbook, whatever, are you doodling in the margins?
No,
man.
because I actually take all of my notes on my phone. As ideas come to me, I jot them down and keep them in my phone.
Okay. William, what you were saying?
I was saying it's all margin.
Yeah.
I don't discern which is which. Yeah, I know what John is saying about the taking notes on the phone, but I don't do it. I can't do it. Particularly when I'm writing, I kind of need to have, you know, something in front of me, like pages. And I know like a lot of artists, you know, David Byrne, for example, Tom Waits is another one, is that when they're writing, they could have, you know, 30 or 40 sheets of paper spread out on the floor, and they're just waiting for sort of, you know, a sentence or a word to sort of pop out of the page, you know, and sort of inspire them to do something or other. Particularly if they're like phonetic singing, you just can't do that with the phone. It just doesn't work. So, you know, unless you've got a bunch of cell phones lying around,
Yeah.
which I guess you could do too, but it seems like overkill.
That's kind of like a cut-up technique. It's
Yeah.
like a surrealist cut-up technique, having all these lyrics lying around
Yeah,
while you're working.
it's you know, like I don't know if you read that book, the David Byrne book, This Is Music, and it's amazing because he sort of he kind of explained what a lot of us were actually doing, but just never really thought about it, you know. And he sort of he was saying that, you know, he'll get the piece of music, whatever he's listening to, whatever he's trying to write over, and he'll be kind of phonetic singing and looking at like a word will jump off the page, and he'll kind of sort of sing that, and he'll record it, and then he'll kind of listen back to whatever this phonetic singing was and try and sort of pick out, what am I saying there? What's that word again? And then try and make it make sense, basically, which is kind of an interesting way of, you know, absorbing what's around you, I suppose.
Makes sense. Good way to work.
Yeah, no, it is.
Kind of get the sounds out first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes when you're writing your lyric, I mean, the actual words themselves can sort of get in the way of the melody, you know, because they sort of constrain where you can go. Whereas if it's just pure phonetics, you can sort of go anywhere. I think.
Don't you hear words when you're making a song? Don't you hear words coming out of the music?
Well, they inspire you to kind of sort of sing in a particular way, I guess, right? Or they just you know, a certain color or a certain cadence or rhythm or whatever.
Keep going. Don't let us interrupt. That's the.
A lot of times, if I'm making a song, sometimes I literally hear the words come out.
Wow.
At least a few words, which is enough to kind of give you an idea of what the rest of the song should sound like, or what other, you know, the words are going to go with it.
Yeah, and does that come? Sorry, go ahead, William.
I was going to say that, like, you know, every song that you write is sort of, it's the process is that, you know, a little bit different. It's not always the same, you know. Sometimes you can be working on, you know, like one of my favorite artists, he's passed away now, is you know, Mark Linkous from Sparkle Horse. who's like a huge influence on me, musically as a writer and everything. But he was kind of saying, and that with his lyric, he'd have the music finished, mixed, everything for could be a year, and he's just like fiddling with the lyric and fiddling with the melody until it really until he feels that it's just perfect the whole way through, and I kind of get that too. And then sometimes it comes really quick. Sometimes the lyric comes first or whatever, the melody comes first. Sometimes it's in a dream. It just doesn't matter. It's always different.
Well, you could have a song sitting around for years, I suppose.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do either of you read poetry on the regular?
I could pretend that I do.
Come on, isn't Ireland the land of scholars and poets?
It is. I mean, I like one of my favorite poets is W.B. Yeats. So I have a book of his poetry like next to the bed, and I do actually pick it up once in a while and sort of just sort of parse through it. But yeah, John, what about you?
Not often, I would say, but oddly you mentioned Yeats because I was reading some of his poems a couple of weeks ago, oddly enough.
Yeah.
For those listening, John is sitting in front of a very decorated bookshelf. Lots of books.
Yep.
So just turn around and say one book off the shelf.
Well, this is sort of the design section. World Receivers. This is an interesting book about 3 women who are artists, but they were very involved in the occult. Georgiana Halton, Hilma F. Klimt, who became very, very well known after the show at the Guggenheim a couple of years ago, and Emma Kunz, who's Swedish. No, I think she's from Switzerland. Abstract paintings, but they were all very influenced by
I would love if
spirituality and occultism at that time.
I would love if William held up like "Eat, Pray, Love." Yeah. Okay, actually, where are we at here? Go ahead.
I just got a present of this. Actually, funnily enough, John, you'd probably like this. I just got a present of this from someone the other day. It's I don't know if you can see that there. It's
Wayfaring Strangers.
Yeah, Wayfaring Strangers. So basically, it's a book about the musical voyage from Scotland and Ulster to Appalachia.
Huh. Oh, fascinating.
Pretty interesting. If you go down there and you listen to the Appalachian music, it's so sort of reminiscent of kind of traditional Irish music and traditional Scottish music. And I always wondered
That's right.
Yeah. So that book is just there's a thing in it called which I really liked, and actually you could apply this to the blues too, really. It's called The Carrying Stream. Which I thought was a really beautiful image, just this idea of just humanity basically coming from those parts, and even with the blues coming from the Caribbean too, and sort of that melting pot, the carrying stream. It's a beautiful, really nice, beautiful concept. So there
looks pretty thick.
It is.
Read through that.
It's like really, really dense. I mean, it's like
a textbook.
I'm never going to get through this.
Okay, but there's pictures. That helps.
There are some pictures. Yeah.
Okay. After lifting that heavy book, what pharmacy do you use?
I don't believe in modern medicine.
I warned you.
Fair.
Perfect.
Hey, William has an interesting thing happening. I saw, William, you're going to be performing with an 80-piece orchestra?
That's right. Yeah. An 80-piece choir, actually. A
choir?
80-piece gospel choir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where? Tell us more.
Well, so I was in this band for years. We toured around the States, whatever. We were signed to Interscope and Ireland at different times, and we don't really do much anymore because I'm sort of so busy with the production. But we do we do kind of a couple of shows, 2 or 3 shows every year. And we do a sort of a show around Christmas in this beautiful converted church here in Cork. And this year we're going to bring in this choir to sort of play the play the set with us, or to sing the set with us. So we're actually rehearsing with them at the moment now. So it's really powerful actually to see I don't know, sort of something you've written kind of just elevated to that level in a sort of in that sort of an atmosphere. It's pretty humbling, I suppose, is the word I would use to describe it.
And how long? So you're doing your songs,
Yeah.
and then how long do you rehearse with such a large group?
Well, so basically what we do is because you can't really, it's really unwieldy to kind of rehearse with them, you know, in certain settings. So essentially we have like the sort of choir master, this woman, actually Yvonne, believe it or not, is the choir master.
Oh wow,
who sang in a couple of your tracks.
Fantastic.
So basically she takes like the songs away and she sort of writes, she kind of scores them out for the choir, and then she sort of rehearses with them in another church, a different church, and then I come in, or we come in, myself and a couple of the guys from the band come in just with acoustic guitars, and we sort of run through the songs with the choir. So we never actually perform as the full ensemble with everybody until night of the show, because it's just too difficult to do, you know. But
are you going to record it all?
Yeah, we're going to film it. We're going to film it and actually audio record it as well for like a live record in the new year. So
fantastic.
It'll be good.
So you're not doing Christmas songs?
No, I might do one.
Well, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
We actually have a question about Christmas songs on the list.
Oh, right. Good.
Have you started listening to Christmas songs?
No.
Have you come across Christmas songs?
Oh yeah, I actually wrote one. I wrote one that's coming out in a couple of days with this chap I'm working with in England. And so in England, right, they have this show called Top of the Pops.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've heard of it. Really, you know, seminal,
very famous. Yeah,
yeah, and so like the #1 single at Christmas time every year is a big deal in the UK. So that, you know, it's like who's going to be, and it's normally kind of these, lately it's been these sort of novelty acts have been kind of getting to #1 on, you know, the week of Christmas. So so I wrote this song I wrote the music and he wrote the lyrics actually for this song. It is called All I Want for Christmas Is a Christmas #1. And and it's about the energy crisis in England, you know. So that's the sort of the premise of the song, is that basically, you know, he's energy's gotten so expensive over there that he can't even afford to get Christmas lights or turn the heating on over Christmas, and he can't make the turkey and so on and so forth, blah blah blah. So it's coming out in a couple of days. So I've been like up to my ears in Christmas the last couple of weeks getting the mix finished. So
oh my God, you have to share that. You have to send that to us.
I'll send it to you guys for sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, that sounds incredible. And the other thing, after you release the choir,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, please share that as well.
Sure.
It's tough to follow up, you know, really earnest and thought-provoking artwork that, you know, our guests are putting out there with, like, do you have a garden? And if so, or if you want a garden, what are you going to grow in it?
Cannabis.
Is it legal?
Is it
legal there?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
Is cannabis legal there?
No.
Okay.
No.
John, sorry.
Oh, I have a like a weekend, like a summer cabin. It's a log cabin. So, I mean, it's so shady. You can really only just grow like ferns and things that grow in the shade.
Still, that's cool. Okay, we covered Christmas
shady
music.
Things. That was fast.
And oh, here we go. If you could go back in time, let's say 10,000 years, and draw something on a cave that would confuse future generations, what would you draw
Oh
on said
man.
cave?
John, you can take that one.
Well, that's a tough one. That's really a tough one.
So I asked a few
Like,
other people this today, and
yeah.
I can share their answers if it jars your imagination.
No, I guess what would really screw them up is if someone drew a city.
Very true.
So is that the point, to confuse people?
Yes.
Okay.
Or a space shuttle. But maybe they've drawn them on caves,
Yeah.
right?
I think that
Probably.
I've watched probably too much Ancient Aliens, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
lots of
I bet there is.
space related objects already.
Is there?
Is.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
That's
very
an
specific, like a city would be.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of difficult to draw a city, though, wouldn't it? I mean,
Well, you could draw like
technically,
yeah. You could draw like the skyline, I guess, and buildings.
And then you label it a specific city, like this is New York, 2022.
Yeah. Empire State Building, right? That would be confusing.
Yeah.
You could draw a computer.
To draw a computer.
Could be fun. You want to mess
So
with
hang on.
people's
My
heads.
question is: are you trying to confuse people 10,000 years ago, or people now that come across the drawing?
Both,
Throughout
I guess.
time, all of
I
them.
guess both.
Throughout time.
Because that would be different.
Because can you imagine if somebody found a cave drawing now of what looks like a computer from 2000, 4,000,
or like a
6,000
two-headed
years
dinosaur or something? It's like, whoa, they had two-headed dinosaurs back then.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Someone told me today, someone I asked said a dinosaur with a Mickey Mouse shirt. And I was like, okay. I'm assuming a cartoon dinosaur as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. What music or band, something specific, are you into right now?
John.
I was hoping you would go first.
Well, it varies. It depends. It's like I kind of find with Spotify and streaming services, I can never sort of think of what to listen to. So I'm always going back to my old favorites, like Tom Waits and I do like kind of some of the Sharon Van Etten stuff, actually.
Oh, nice. We're trying to get her on the pod.
Yeah, she's cool. She's
great.
What else is cool at the moment? Quite like Kendrick Lamar, actually. Some of it, anyway. My daughter listens to it like incessantly, so it's sort of gone in there on some level.
Oh, that's fun.
This guy, I like this band. They're called the Mortal Prophets, actually.
No, good call.
They're good. They're really good.
Yeah,
that's what we were going for. I'm happy you picked up on it.
Great debut album.
Yeah. John, what are you listening to?
I was listening to the master musicians of Jajuka today. The Moroccan music that was sort of made popular by Brian Jones.
Yeah. This is ringing a bell, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible stuff. They play these long flutes. It's sort of this whirling music. It's a 3-day festival. Amazing drumming. It's very trance-like, hypnotic.
Okay, so this brings me to the next.
Listening to that.
This brings me to the next question. Is we always end the episodes with a song from the guest. So, what song do you want us to play at the end of the episode?
What do you think, William? Just Me and the Devil?
Sure. Yeah.
Or do you have which one is your favorite? Soul of a Man's pretty cool.
I love just there's just little kind of moments on all the records that are all the songs that sort of I really love. I do like Me and the Devil. I like when the sort of the heavy guitars kick in there halfway through, sort of gets my juices flowing.
So I'll go with that.
I like it. The stuff on Spotify is fantastic, fellas. And
Cheers, thanks.
I put it on yesterday. I've listened to it, last couple of weeks since we've been going back and forth, but I put it on yesterday in the middle of a long work day, and it definitely got my juices flowing, as William so succinctly put it.
Good.
Nice.
Well, the full record comes out on December 7th or something like that. 8th, 9th, I don't know, something like that. So there's only 3 songs from the record on Spotify now, but there are 10 songs.
Yeah.
Cool.
Plus a
That's
few orphans, right?
Mm-hmm. It's been getting some good press.
It's gonna get some more good press.
I hope so. I mean, there was this incredible review in the Stereo Embers magazine.
You sent it to us.
Yeah, I mean, is that great or what?
It was great. The whole intro was fantastic writing. Hold on, I'm looking up a date here. I think it's the 9th, right?
The 9th.
Records
go,
come
yeah.
out on Fridays, right?
Yeah. And then there's 3 more.
December 9th.
So we sort of staggered it in, I think, an interesting way. The first single, and then 2 singles were released, and then 3 singles are released simultaneously, and then the album.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Little teasers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But more like, sometimes with just one single and then you wait forever and you're like, that was it. Come on, I need more. I like the build up. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so fellas, what's next? Music wise, whatever. You can tell me whatever you're doing right after this or tomorrow for dinner.
Well, I can tell you that almost finished with another album with Alex Crispin, who worked with Daniel Lanois for 7 years. He's producing what I'm calling the blues trilogy. So that should be coming out next year, and then there's, it's sort of an ambient cowboy cosmic Americana record that I'm doing that's finished, and that'll come out after this other album. It's more of a I guess you could think of it as sort of cinematic.
Oh, I like that adjective.
There's there's only one song where I'm singing. The rest of it, I'm just sort of saying things and giving directions and orders. It's quite weird.
We love weird,
but I'm really happy with it. It's really cool. So a lot of music's going to be coming out, and then I think William and I will probably get back together too.
Nice.
Next year and mess around with some more things, and I'd like to do something with the 80-piece choir.
Yeah.
Might be interesting to look at that, all right? Yeah, we can certainly
go
into that for sure.
Or maybe a 12-piece choir. Keep it simpler, 80 is kind of.
You're gonna do 12, you might as well do 80, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh man. William, you got anything you want to promote?
Well, I'm just mostly doing, like, as I was saying, I'm mostly production at the moment. So, and it's literally, I mean, it's so eclectic. It's hard to sort of imagine, really. It's everything from sort of. I'm actually doing an interesting record at the moment. It's sort of, like Tin Pan Alley Christian music. Just like, it couldn't be further from what myself and John did. It's sort of like if like Harold Ireland or someone like did a record with like sort of a fervent Christian. Essentially, this is what would come out. It's pretty interesting. I'm kind of digging the sort of the actual song structures. It's interesting. Just working on a bunch of stuff, working with this really great, interesting singer songwriter out on the West Coast. Making a record called Psych Ward Kids, which is really good, actually. She spent a bit of time in a psych ward, obviously, and she kind of wrote this record about it, and it's pretty, again, very moving, but in a very sort of interesting way. So yeah, as John said, you know, lots of music, like sort of an ocean of music, and just
Mm-hmm.
trying to put, you know, the main thing is just trying to put out good stuff all the time, not just because
Mm-hmm.
there's so much slock out there, there's so much garbage that it's just, you know, you don't want to add to that ocean of mediocrity either. You want to try and just put
Yeah.
out quality material, which is, you know, what me and John talked about too, obviously.
I think that
There's a
is
weird Spotify statistic that I saw. It's Yeah, this is kind of crazy, but think about this. It's nearly 80% of artists on Spotify have fewer than 50 monthly listeners.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another statistic for you.
Oh, good. Let's have it.
We could throw these back all night. Statistic tennis.
that's another song name.
Yeah, honestly. Sort of, what is it again? 10%, right, of the artists on Spotify have 95% of all the streams.
And
Wow.
Taylor Swift has at least 70% of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Incredible.
So, yeah, you know, I'm actually starting a little small record label back here in Ireland. You know, we're putting out our first, like the first artist on it in a couple of weeks, and we actually made the decision to not put anything up on the streaming platforms. Literally, it's just going to be physical copies and you know, high quality digital downloads. Because it's a great discovery tool. I'm not going to knock Spotify or anything, because they're amazing, and as a listener, it's incredible, obviously. But from the artist's point of view, it's really it doesn't make
Nothing.
any, you know, financial sense,
Right.
sadly.
Yeah.
So,
well, back
What
to what
else
you're
you got
saying.
for us?
Well, I want to talk about something you guys just touched on is how prolific it seems like you guys are. Not, you'll never stop working, which hits us, you know, right in the feels, because
you know,
that's how both of us work.
You know, for me, it's really different because I just started making music in the last 2 years.
Oh, okay. So you're catching up.
Well, I have a lot of lost time, I guess, in a way, to try to make a lot of music, and it really just came to me over the last 2 years. It's kind of hard to explain how it's all sort of happening, but it's very exciting, and I do work pretty fast.
yeah,
So.
I think John as well, with, you know, it's like, it's almost you know, when someone comes to a discipline which they basically know nothing about, and obviously John's background is more, you know, more art and sculpture and, you know, design and so on and so forth. But for him to sort of bring those sensibilities to like a different discipline, and sort of approach it from a sort of a different angle, really, from what sort of a seasoned musician would, I suppose. Like I would never, I probably would never have conceived of making the kind of record that he sort of wanted to make. Most musicians probably wouldn't, honestly, you know, which is really sort of refreshing and kind of, you know, and interesting, like interesting music and emotional music. That's it, right? If you can make it interesting, emotional, the rest of it doesn't matter, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta write that nugget down too.
And the other thing I didn't realize was how music is very similar to architecture and design, in the sense of the way you sort of build up a song with layers. And I never thought about it that way until just, you know, recently. They're very similar ways of putting things together, with let's say, a foundation, which you could say is the beat or the bass, and bringing in, what would the right word be? You know, different focal points and highlights to a space. it's very similar to how you work in music.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you did, you know, like the platform that you were working in is quite sort of, you'd probably call it modular if you want. You know, and a lot of that sort of, particularly sort of, you know, if you listen to a lot of electronic music that's made, you know, literally on a computer, and that's it more or less. It is very modular, and it is very sort of, you know, it's like Lego blocks basically. You know, you got okay, 8 bars, do that, drag some stuff in there, and then okay, 8 bars later, you got to change something or add something, take it away. You know, if you listen to like say, you know, Lee Scratch Perry, for example, it was, you know, incredible. I mean, he sort of, his whole sort of innovation really was using the mixing desk, right, as computer vibe that it has, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. Well, I see the tools as I see them as a kind of watercolor.
Yeah.
The demos, sure. Right? It's just sort of, it's sort of a sketch. And then, well, we were playing interesting games, William and I, towards the end, where it was almost, I would call it the surrealist game of the exquisite corpse, where you know, William could either take 3 or 4 tracks out of the demo that I sent him, or he could add 3 or 4 tracks into the demo. So that was kind of fun. Yeah. Right. So we preserved some of the original demo.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, it's like, you know, like first, like Eno, for example, is always, he's very interested in sort of setting up parameters, right, for an experiment, and then sort of letting the experiment kind of run and sort of see what happens. You know, for things like getting 4 musicians in a room and having them play for 3 minutes, and the point of the exercise is that he wants them to not play for longer than they play, if that makes any sense. Okay. So if the song is 3 minutes long, they can only play for, you know, for 1 minute and 29 seconds, right? So you have to sort of, you know, and then what does that do to the musician on sort of an emotional level, on a sort of a technical level? So you have to think about, okay, am I going to play here because I've only got X amount of seconds to play, right? So with myself and John, then as I got to, again, when you work with someone for the first time, a new artist, right, you're both learning about each other, the things that you might like or not like, the things that sort of push the buttons and so on. By the end, we were sort of much more simpatico in terms of what we were sort of coming up with. So he would send me, you know, a 3-minute sort of sketch of what he wanted. And as he mentioned, what he would say is, okay, you're only allowed to add 3 elements to this. That's it. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I have to sort of say, well, okay, you know, in a sort of a normal scenario, I would probably, you know, I would say replace the bass with something that sounds a little better, right? So I'm not going to do that now because that's going to take up one of my tracks. So I'll screw around with his bass, whatever. And so it made me, on a sort of an artistic level, much more sort of conscious of, okay, if I've only got 3 tracks, I got to make them really
damn
you know
good.
I mean? Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's interesting because that's actually that's for me, you know, that's one of the biggest drawbacks in a way of sort of modern digital recording, is that you can you know, you can record forever. You can do 60 tracks of backing vocals if you wanted to, you know. Whereas at least, you know, the Beatles made Sgt. Pepper on a 4-track. You know,
right,
and they had to sort of bounce it down and kind of, you know, again, so there's much more thought going into what they're putting down as opposed to just slapping a bunch of shit down and seeing if any of it sort of works at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are now the hosts. I could just listen to you guys talk forever, for real. It's your podcast, and continue. Tell us more about the album. It's fascinating, for real.
You can't shut us up once we start, unfortunately.
No,
Well, I
it's
think
a
it was-
great.
I
You have
think
your own
it-
language too.
It was very, I mean, William and I like a lot of the same music, so we didn't have any conflicts there. And I don't know, I thought it was a very fluid relationship that we built up.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
It's
sometimes
amazing.
you're working with a producer and it's like, God, is he gonna just use that same drum sound again? Right?
Yeah.
You get frustrated, or it's like, hey, my demo sounds better than what we've just been working on.
Yeah. Well, that's always, I mean, that's like, as a producer, that's something you're battling all the time with artists, because they're like,
Yeah.
no, I like my demo better.
Uh-huh. Oh,
it's
so
just,
people say that to you. Okay.
yeah, all the time,
Oh, okay. I've
Not
never
all the
said
time,
that.
but
I've never said that to anyone. So I thought that would be like a big faux pas.
no, we call it demoitis. It's like, and I can spot them a mile away at this point.
Can you?
Know, like if someone wants to work with me, and if they say certain things, I won't even bother working with them, because I know it's just going to be, heartbreaking.
A real struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as on the other side of the fence, yeah, you get sort of attached to this song, right?
Yeah, you do. But why are you bringing in a producer, right? Why are you bringing
Exactly.
in someone to
Exactly,
sort of realize
right.
your vision, or to sort of to sort of elevate your vision if you want.
Right.
So
exactly.
let them do their job.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Abby, are you taking notes? Abby really elevates this a ton.
she?
So yeah.
Well, isn't it great that I wanted to have William on?
Yeah, it's
Because otherwise,
fantastic.
it'd just be pretty boring just talking to me.
Right
Yeah,
on.
then I disagree. But this has been educational, enlightening, entertaining. Anything else you want to throw out there? We got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
What else? Something you're itching to talk about?
Have any of you guys read Cormac McCarthy?
I have.
Yes.
I have, yeah.
Have you read Blood Meridian?
Yes.
No.
You haven't? You have, Abby, yeah?
I have.
I haven't.
Yes.
No, yeah.
What do you think?
I liked it. So I read this actually with several other people, and it was very interesting because everybody had a different take on it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was written well.
Yeah. It's
Why do
you have to read it.
Isn't it like his
it's
take on
astounding.
In Cold Blood? Isn't it like parallel?
No, it's about
Capote?
this. It's about a gang of like scalp hunters in the sort of 1850s.
Yeah.
On the sort of New Mexico border. It's oh my, like I've read The Road. The Road was kind of my favorite book for many years, and
Mhm.
read a few of the other ones. But this is just, I mean, it's actually, I actually finished the book and I went back and I started at the start and read it again straight away.
Wow.
It just blew me, totally blew. I just finished it again, so that's why it's fresh in my mind now. But yeah,
It's very
read it.
emotional.
Yeah,
Maybe
It
you
is.
guys should start bothering the band book club.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree.
That's up next.
Yeah. So
Everyone
what are you working
follow.
on, John?
Huh?
What are you working on? Sort of.
Well, we're
music?
fortunately we're busy, with the design business, which is
Yeah.
great. I'm probably working on 3 or 4 different projects simultaneously right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I think there'll be 4 albums coming out by the end of next year.
That's great.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Oh, you're gonna have to start touring that stuff. Are you gonna play live?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's a whole other discussion that I haven't quite figured out yet.
Yeah. That's definitely the sort of missing link, the X factor. That sort of.
I'd like to play live. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you should, because it's just, that's the connection, you know. It's almost making that connection with sort of the listeners on very sort of one-to-one level is where I'm just kind of, it's very hard to engage sometimes with the sort of digital world, you know. It's everyone's out there and they don't really, no one's got time to sit down and actually sort of absorb anything properly.
Right. Well, maybe I'll come to Ireland and we'll start there with your whole posse.
Yeah, we'll rehearse up some songs and do a few shows. Definitely.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Can we just come hang out and watch the process?
Definitely.
Document.
Just make sure you bring your raincoat.
Yeah. Got to get a raincoat. Guys, we can't thank you enough for being on this podcast and really elevating it, because we asked a couple of stupid questions, but the other stuff is the most fascinating. And that's, I think the dumb questions are just a springboard or an excuse to get you talking, the walls down too, and then open up a little bit. So we can't thank you enough. Everyone follow Mortal Prophets on Instagram. John Beckmann and William Declan Lucey, right?
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
I've been follow us on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify.
And thank you for having us.
Yeah, I've been
it was a real pleasure.
This joke for a second, so I have to say it.
Okay.
You got to start your own production company and call it Beck and Deck. There you go. You're welcome, and you're also welcome for tennis. What was it? Statistic Tennis and whatever other song names will be on the 10th album.
And Subway Cat and the book club.
Yep.
And yes. Guys, thank you so much. It's been so
welcome.
Much fun.
Good night, guys. I'm going back to bed.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, William.
See y'all.
Early this morning, when you knocked upon my door. Early this morning, when you knocked upon my door. And I said, hello, Satan, I believe it's time to go. Me and the devil was walking side by side. Yeah, me and the devil was walking side by side. And I'm gonna beat my woman until I'm satisfied. She said, you don't see why that you dog me round. Now, baby, you know you ain't doing me right, don't you? She said you don't see why, that you will dog me round. It must be that old evil spirit so deep down in the ground. You may bury my body down by the highway side. Baby, I don't care where you bury my body when I'm dead and gone. You may bury my body, down by the highway side. So my old evil spirit can catch a Greyhound bus and ride.